Hi everyone, and welcome to episode number 97 of the Talk is Cheap show. Hope you're well, healthy and COVID free. Thanks to you all for tapping in today. Truly appreciate your support. And now, as you can see, we're live in the AFTV studios and we've got a great show lined up for you today, as always. But before we do all that, my cursory introductions. Joining me as always to my left, we have in the house, my resident expert, co-host, analyst, and now award-winning content creator, Mr. Curtis Shaw from Curtis Shaw TV in the house. What are you saying, bro?
Oh, good, bro.
How you doing, man?
Price just went up, man. To text Robbie, I said, listen, man, things have changed now.
What's the saying? Yesterday's price is not the same price.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, courtesy of Fat Joe.
Yeah.
Anyway, how you been doing, man?
All good, man. Yeah, it's good. Obviously the awards last week.
Yeah, look, man, tell the people, man.
Listen,
they want to know. The people want to know what I want.
One best new content creator. You know, big up to the community and AFTV, everyone for supporting. Obviously, AFTV won best content creator. So we had a good night. It was a good celebration, wasn't it? You know.
Yeah. Shout out to the organisers, man. They put on a very good event.
Great show.
It was a great turnout, and it was pretty lively, especially once Expressions and Troops is in the house. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, do you know what? Congrats as well to Expressions, man. On his way to America, coming to America settings, man. America. Eddie Murphy, you know. Big up to him.
Yeah, America's not one who know what hit him, man. First Troops and now Expressions, man. But,
Take over.
Yeah, big up to Expressions, man. He deserves that. Yeah,
100%.
Enough respect. I've got to know him quite well over the last couple of years, and he's a stand-up guy.
Yeah, man,
so
top
he deserves his success. What about you? You think you'll be out there one day?
I don't know. I don't mind, you know. Been New York. I won't mind a little move over there. I'm ready, man.
The bag, man.
The bag,
American bag is big.
I heard you was big in New York. You and Robbie back in the day, innit? Regular New York trips.
Yeah, but we weren't getting that kind of social media love back in the day,
It's
man.
different
It's a
now.
different type of vibe back in the day. But yeah, man, New York is a great place. One of my favourite cities in the whole wide world. I'm sure they're going to do just fine out there.
Yeah, man.
Okay then, so introductions out the way, breaking news. I guess there's only one story in town today. The worst kept secret, the most predictable sacking of all time probably.
Yeah.
Mr. Steve Bruce, apparently left by mutual consent.
Mutual.
Is that just another expression for he got sacked, but because you didn't make up too much noise, we'll sort you out with a nice little bag?
That often happens in football. I've even seen it where a manager, they've pulled him in and said, listen, we're sacking you, but to make it sound better, we're going to make it sound like we mutually agreed it. So,
because am I right in thinking that if a manager was to leave, then he'd forfeit a lot of the
compensation? Yeah. So he'd have got a big brown bag, man. I'm telling you, they're left with a bag full of money today.
But overall, what do you think of that whole situation? Because he's getting a lot of sympathy from people. And let's be honest, man. Steve Bruce is one of those guys where he often gets a lot of stick, but I don't think it's as bad as manager.
No.
I mean, not being funny, man, but the man's got like 12th and 13th place finishes. With that team, you could argue that with us, we finished 8th twice on the trot, and we're now currently 12th. I mean, and that manager's not been earmarked for sacking anytime soon. Well, certainly not by the board, maybe by people like yourself. But yeah, so do you think that Steve Bruce has been sort of unfairly treated, or do you feel a little bit of empathy for him?
I do feel a little bit of sympathy for him because, like you said, 12th and 13th at Newcastle with Mike Ashley as owner is no easy feat, because it's not like Mike Ashley backs him in the transfer market. That's right, I just think, having been to Newcastle a few times, they still kind of live off this Ginola, Asprio, you know, when they were flamboyant and expressive. And I think with Steve Bruce, he's very, his football's not great. Some of his press conferences are a little bit like, they want a personality up there. So if you've got billionaire owners of that level that they're at, they're not going to keep Steve Bruce. So as much as I feel sorry for him in a way, he's got.
Well, you know what it is? I wouldn't say I feel sorry for him. I have a degree of empathy for him. Yeah. It's slightly different because at the end of the day, as we just said, the man's getting a nice early Christmas present. You know what I mean? Let's keep it real. If you're getting taken over by the richest group in the world, and they're giving you that sign-off bag, man, that bag is going to be loaded.
It's a big bag.
Yeah, it's a big bag. And, I think he's going to get work again, innit? He will get work again.
Yeah, eventually, So,
you know what I mean? It's not like the end of the world for him, is it?
No.
So yeah, man. But yeah, I mean, like I said, man, it was the worst kept secret in
we knew
football.
it
was always going to happen. Who do you think that they're going to?
Mate,
There's a guy called Graham Jones from the backroom staff. We know that he's going to be taking interim charge, but obviously he's not going to be the full-time replacement or the long-term replacement. So who do you think? I mean, no doubt they'll be targeting all the big guns, won't they?
They're being linked with loads of people. It went from Conte.
Off the hook.
I'm seeing Frank Lampard. I don't know. I think they'll go for someone flamboyant.
Who do you think they'll get?
I think they would have tried to have got like a Conte, but I'm not sure it's going to happen. I think they may go for someone like Lampard. I think
do you
they'll
think
go
that
for
would
someone.
work?
I'm not sure. He struggled at Chelsea when he had money to spend. He did well the year before when he didn't have money. So it'll be interesting.
But I often say that sometimes money can expose how good or bad a manager you are, can't it?
Yeah.
Because a lot of managers, as soon as they get that bag to spend, then, you know what I mean?
They get exposed
There comes
quick.
with that pressure. And you've also got to attract the right type of players. And sometimes, man, you know what I mean, it doesn't always work out. Just because you've got the money doesn't mean to say things are going to go your way. So but yeah, man, we'll see what happens with that, man. Yeah, very interesting. Okay, so let's crack on with one of our regular features then, and that is to review Arsenal's last game. Right, unless you've been sleeping under a rock, you'll know that Arsenal played earlier in the week. A game we labelled as the Vieira derby, the homecoming of one of Arsenal's legendary players. And when I say legendary players, I'm not just like, legend can often be an overused word.
Definitely.
But when it applies to someone like Patrick Vieira, it's not, man. He is a proper bona fide legend. And you know what, I'm going to start off by saying shout out to the Arsenal fans, man, who gave him a really good reception at the start of the game.
Deserved.
Singing his name, you know what I mean? I think that was well deserved. But it was nice to see, you know what I mean? So, yeah, man. So, yeah, big London derby. And to kick things off, we said it would be a difficult game, didn't we? I mean, you predicted 2-1 to Arsenal. I predicted the legendary Desmond. I got it right.
Did you put money on that?
I didn't. I'm not a betting man, but you know, I just knew that this was going to be a hard game.
It was,
I just knew it, and I don't like to, you know, not predict an Arsenal win, or certainly not bet against us or pick against us. But it was the portents for the upset were there for me. I could just see it, you know what I mean, and. I guess I was right. But anyway, to the key moments of the game, which I'll try and go through quickly. We started well, I thought. We started sharp. Scored an excellent goal after 8 minutes, courtesy of Aubameyang. Great move by Pepe. You know what I mean? Good little run, shot, keeper saved. Aubameyang coming in on the blind side. Tight angle, tucked it in well, don't you say?
Yeah, good finish.
Yeah, good finish. So I'm looking at that now, and the way we started, we were sharp, we were bright. Aubameyang kind of exemplified that with some of his runs. He was there running like a, you know what I mean, like a ferret, man, all over the place. I was thinking, yeah, man, this looks like it could be quite a good night for us. But then we scored the goal, and I don't know, man, it seemed like we stopped playing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I couldn't work it out, whether it was a bit of tiredness or a bit of lethargy creeping in, or was the tactics from the sidelines to slow things down a bit. But we noticeably went into our shell. And slowly but surely you could see Palace gaining confidence. And then it's almost like they started to take over slowly but surely, you know what I mean? And then, of course, just before half-time, we had that incident. I've got to ask you about this briefly, man. The MacArthur challenge on Saka. Now, for me, that is a straight red all day long. But I spoke to you after the game, and you being an ex-pro, you had a slightly different take on it. So tell the people what you thought about that. For me, that's a straight red.
Do you know what? I do think it was a red because...
Oh, you think it's a red now?
But do you know what it is? What I was saying was, it was given as a yellow. And I just think with VAR now, they're trying not to like expose each other in the sense that I think they feel like they're making the ref look stupid if he's given a yellow and then they go, actually, mate, you've got it wrong, go and give a red. I thought that Saka was close enough to MacArthur that he could see him because he's so close to him. The whistle goes. He could have probably stopped mid-flight and stopped himself from kicking the ball or not kicking it with as much force. He just kicks through the back of Saka's leg, and I'm like, how is he not getting a red card for that, you know? What I thought initially when I hadn't seen the replay was he's just gone to hit the ball. Saka's gone into the way and he's kicked him. So initially, I wasn't sure whether it was a red or not. But having seen the replay, I'm shocked that VAR didn't overturn that. I tell you one thing, you guarantee if that's the other way round, our player gets sent off. If Granit Xhaka did that, he's off. Well, all day long.
But can you remember last season, I think it was, Aubameyang, he actually got sent off against Crystal Palace. I know it was a slightly different kick, it was a high kick. But you could see there was no intention there. But his foot was high. And the referee had judged that as a sending off and he went. You remember that, Aubameyang?
Was that last season?
Yeah. Well, I know it was against Crystal Palace. I know it's a previous game against Crystal Palace. But when you compare that to what we saw on Monday, which was basically an assault. I mean, I said to you, didn't I, that the last time I saw a kick like that was in the octagon. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? That's like some Conor McGregor BS there, right? But yeah, I could not believe that, man. Seriously, that he never went for that. I was genuinely shocked. I thought that was a ridiculous decision. But anyway, to go back to the game. So, as I said, and I'm trying to go through this briefly, to me, by the end of the first half, to me, Palace were already asserting themselves as the better team, and that was kind of worrying. We went in 1-0 up, but you know what I mean? I was thinking, boy, man, we need to sort this out because it's not looking too good. And of course, the second half starts, we don't improve. Palace maintain what they were doing, and within 5 minutes, man, they've scored. 50th minute, Benteke, good goal, man. You know what I mean? Benteke, for some reason, he loves playing against Arsenal. Yeah. You know what I mean? So when that goes in, I'm thinking, wow, man, this could be a long night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, took his goal well. Things are not going our way. 67 minutes, the manager takes off Odegaard, who I thought had a poor game. Brings Lacazette on. That proved to be instrumental. 73 minutes, Palace take the lead. Odsonne Edouard, a guy who incidentally Arsenal were being linked with last season. For whatever reason, it didn't get over the line. But he looks a decent player as well. And by this time, I'm looking at this game now and I'm thinking, yeah, Palace have almost got total control. Certainly in terms of the midfield, they were bossing the midfield. And I'm looking at this game and I'm thinking, wow. Although, as time goes on, I'm seeing that Lacazette is starting to have a noticeable impact on the game. He come on as sub and I'm thinking, you know, we're seeing a bit more of the ball. And I just got the impression that maybe with victory in sight, and maybe this is a little inexperience on Vieira's part, he tried to, it's almost like he was saying to himself, right, we'll take what we've got, 2-1, you know what I mean? They went from like pretty much bossing the game, then they're dropping a bit deeper and deeper and they're allowing us back in it. And I'm thinking, you know what I mean, you've got to be careful of this because, you know what I mean, like it could go awry. And so it proved, man. Literally the last kick of the game, Laca, the ball's fumbling around in the box, it comes to him and he takes his goal well. And 2-2. But I have to say, man, I did think we were slightly fortunate. Although I know Kieran Tierney did hit the bar a few minutes before that. But, bro, over to you. What was your thoughts on that?
Oh, man, the game.
First thing I'm going to ask you, was it a point gained, given the fact that we've come from 2-1 down, or was it 2 points dropped?
I think overall for me, listen, I understand if you isolate the game and say, we scored a goal in the 94th minute, it looks like a point gained. But I think overall, if you look at the bigger picture, a 2-2 draw at home to Crystal Palace, if you've got plans of finishing in Europe, is 2 points dropped. I mean, I have to be honest, before the game, I predicted a 2-1 win, but I was a little bit nervous about the game. And I'm starting my watch along, and I look at the Palace team, and I'm like, Zaha's not in the squad, Eze hasn't made the squad, and I'm like, Monday night, this is great, you know what I mean? We got, this is going to be light work, you know what I mean? No Zaha, no Eze, that's their two best attacking players. Benteke hasn't scored for 7 games, you know, but he rolls into town, looks like Drogba against Arsenal, you know what I mean?
What is that celebration?
I don't know, but I see it every time he plays against us.
Well,
you know
the only
what I mean?
time I see it is when he plays us.
Do you know what I mean? Odsonne Edouard is a striker, he's playing left wing, and Jordan Ayew's a striker playing right wing, so they've got no natural wingers. And I have to admit, man, the way we started the game, I thought, this is brilliant. We looked energetic. We got the goal. I thought, Palace look a bit down. We can get 2 or 3 goals here. And it reminded me almost of the Euros final. It was almost like we scored so early. It was almost too early.
I like that
and we just retreated for the... I didn't understand it.
I said that earlier. Was it the players naturally went into themselves a little bit, or was it from the touchline?
Yeah.
Did he try and tighten things up and we end up
The thing was,
overthinking?
Arteta was making out in the press conference as if like, I don't really know why the players did that. And I was thinking, surely at half time, if you've seen the players doing that, the first thing you say is, we need to attack. You're sitting back. We were winning at half time. So he still could have adjusted the tactics. We came out in the second half. It got even worse.
Although we were winning,
more.
but as I said, and when I summarised the game a bit earlier, I did think that towards the end of the first half,
They were
Palace
better
were
team.
already starting to assert their dominance.
And I've said this many times and with Mikel Arteta, I don't understand what we are trying to do. It's like he wants to play possession-based football, but we don't have a ball-playing centre midfielder. Why did we not buy a ball-playing midfielder? You're now trying to get Thomas Partey as the ball player, which is not his game. He's then made the mistake that leads to their first goal. You then take Saka off because Saka's injured. Fair enough, Saka comes off. I'm thinking, all right, Martinelli comes on for him. And he brings on Sambi Lokonga, puts him back into midfield, puts Smith Rowe out wide, and then Sambi makes the mistake, and he come on and was poor again. I think we've got a massive issue in the middle of midfield. I think we desperately need a new midfielder. He tried to play Odegaard in like a deep lying playmaker role. I thought he got completely bullied in that game. He was poor against Brighton the week before. And I think on the goals that we conceded were dreadful. The first one, Partey gets caught. Gabriel gets sidestepped by Benteke. Too easy. He finishes.
Yeah, that was
so easy. He's obviously going to cut in onto his right.
Yeah, he made Benteke at that moment look like a prime Drogba.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? And then on Sambi Lokonga's one, I mean, he gets caught on the ball, but it's 20 yards in the Palace half. We still should be able to deal with it. And Ben White is backing off. I thought he was moonwalking out of the stadium. I'm like, where's this guy going? And Edouard scores, and I'm like, what type of goals are they to concede?
I was going to say maybe Ben White should go home and study some videos of Tony Adams.
Hey, you don't watch football,
remember?
You don't watch it.
I must admit, I know I'm digressing. I thought that was an astonishing admission to make.
Do you know what it is?
That's one of them things that even if you don't do it, you just don't say nothing.
Do you know
that could come back to bite you in the bum, man.
I've seen a lot of people, because I remember an interview when Ronaldinho says, I don't really watch football. But he's Ronaldinho. He doesn't really need to watch football. But when Ben White's saying, I don't watch football, I'm like, that's going to come back and get you, because any mistake you make...
He also said he's never seen Vieira play, didn't he, or something like that?
Yeah, he doesn't really know much about him. I'm like, this ain't going to help you, bro.
I was watching some of that and I was
quiet.
thinking, bro, like... Are you sure you want to be saying this stuff?
I respect the honesty, but I don't know if that's...
I'll give him that.
Maybe he should have kept quiet.
But anyway, to go back, he was backing off.
It was more than backing off. And then obviously 2-1 up. And look, for me, do you know what? I celebrated when Lacazette scored, because I've seen some people saying they didn't celebrate because they just weren't happy with the draw, which I understand. I just got caught up in the emotion that we've equalised 94th minute. But overall, for me, I think that was another poor performance. Right. I think if Zaha and Eze play that game, we probably get beaten because they're their two best attacking players. I thought Palace were the better team. I looked at Vieira. I looked at that team. I think Vieira's been in charge since the end of July. And I see a clear style of football and understanding from that team. Our manager's been there nearly 2 years, and I do not know what is going on that pitch. I really don't know what's happening.
I'm going to ask you, bro. I mean, it's a question that a lot of people were talking about both before the game and they were discussing it after. Do you think that Arteta was out-coached by Vieira?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
I've got to say, man, a lot of people said that. And I've got to... Although it's interesting with the match stats, I call them match receipts. I've got them in front of me. Shots on goal. Arsenal 17, Palace 9, so there's a clear difference there in Arsenal's favour. Shots on target, however, 6 each. Possession, again, Arsenal slightly ahead. I think we made that really good start.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, towards the end, Palace, to me, were dropping deeper and giving us possession.
Yeah.
They were probably thinking, we'll be all right. They're just going to, try and play through the middle, no width. But it didn't work for them, so... Pass accuracy, very similar. Arsenal 87%, Palace 84%. Now on those stats, I'm sure there are going to be some Arsenal fans saying, listen, man, we deserved a draw and, you know what I mean, it wasn't that bad a game and you got to give us credit for the fact that we were 2-1 down and we came back to draw 2-2.
Yeah.
We're unbeaten in 6. They're going to say it's not that bad. Come on, man. You know what I mean? What are you moaning at? But I don't know, man. I when that game ended, although a bit like you, although I was very satisfied, I wouldn't say I was excited.
No, not at all.
Got, you know what I mean? We got the draw and it's another game unbeaten. I was left slightly hollow because I could not help but think what I'd seen leading up to the finish, you know what I mean? Which is that we were being outplayed at home by a team that really we should be beating. And as you quite rightly said, a team that was shorn of its 2 best players.
Yeah.
And then, you know, we pretty much had full strength for everyone available to him, apart from you could argue about Xhaka. I know you wouldn't think it was, I know you wouldn't have him anyway. But yeah, so to me, man, I have to say I felt quite flat.
Yeah. And the problem for me, I feel like there's a pattern emerging with Arsenal at the moment, is how many games, apart from Tottenham, 45 minutes, probably 20 minutes, 30 minutes against Norwich, and 8 minutes against Crystal Palace. How many games have we maintained a performance for 60, 70, 80 minutes? The first 3 games were just a write-off. We were that bad, we'd just written them off. Yeah. We got demolished 3 times. You know, Brighton bopped us. If Mope had his shooting boots on, we'd have lost that one. Palace were 10 seconds away from beating us. Norwich, we stumbled over the line at home, a tap-in. And Burnley, you know, it's a hard place to go. I give them credit for that. But we just spent 150 million. I can't see it in the team right now. When you spend 150 million, you're meant to see
tangible improvement.
Exactly, when you watch your team. And I still see a disjointed attack. I still see a midfield that is not good enough outside of Thomas Partey. You take Thomas Partey out of our midfield, that's a bottom 7, 8 midfield, in my opinion. And
sobering thought.
Honestly, listen, the defence has improved. It's definitely improved. But I think because the midfield struggles, they don't protect the defence that well. They don't provide for the attackers that well. I still think there is a problem. I think we're
disjointed, isn't it?
We're disjointed. We're on -5 goal difference.
Wow.
You know, we're in the bottom half of the table. I know we're not a million miles away from, you know, we're only 5 points, I think, off 4th or whatever. But the performances to me are worrying at the moment.
I would go along with that, and I would also agree with what you say, is that when you analyse the performances, like you said, the first 3 games, you can just write them off. But even in the games that we've done better on, if we're being brutally honest, really and truly, it's that first half against Tottenham that stands out. And even then, that was just the first half, because the second half, I thought, again, we didn't look that good. In fact, Tottenham won the second half of that game 1-0. And they had a couple of chances there that on a different day, and with a penalty thrown in, they could even equalise. So, listen, man, it's there's a lot of room for improvement, put it this way.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was that game. The Premier League is the gift that keeps giving. There's another game coming up. So we move on to another one of our regular features, the Ops of the Week. This Friday night, man, Arsenal welcome Aston Villa to the Emirates. 2 games in quick succession. Aston Villa. Now, with Aston Villa, it has to be said that whilst I consider them a very capable team with some very good players, right now they're not in the best of form, are they?
No.
And they lost their star player from last season. But listen, man, they've still got very capable players. I mean, in goal, Emi Martinez. We gave them Emi Martinez. He's one of the most outstanding keepers in the Premier League. Tyrone Mings, John McGinn, Emi Buendia, Leon Bailey, Danny Ings, you know what I mean? Ollie Watkins.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? They'll be coming to the Emirates, maybe not in the best of form, but they have ability in that team.
Yeah.
And on any given day, you know what I mean, they're likely to be a real tough test. Let's examine where they are in the table. And they're currently 13th, so they're just behind us.
Yeah.
Play date, 1-3. They're beating Newcastle, Everton and Man United. So to beating Everton and Man United, so that shows you that, you know, they've got quality. They've drawn the 1 game against Brentford. They've lost 4 though, and they've lost to a couple of teams in there that, you know what I mean. Watford, you wouldn't have predicted that. That was the first game of the season, wasn't it? They've also lost to Chelsea, Tottenham. They lost to Wolves last week. When they
Bit of a local derby for them as well.
Yeah, so that would have been disappointing from their point of view.
Yeah.
And they've lost their last 2, and we're unbeaten in 6. So if you look at the form guide, and look at the fact that Arsenal are at home, that would tend to suggest that we would be slight favourites. Compared to us, like we said, we played 1-3, Norwich, Burnley, Tottenham, lost 3, Chelsea, Brentford, Man City, and then the 2 draws. So yeah, man, it's kind of tight, man.
Yeah,
it's kind of
similar form, really.
Tight, isn't it? It is, yeah.
You just don't know with Arsenal, do you? That's the thing. You know, I feel like
but that's why we got you here, man. Now you're going to tell us. You're going to tell us what's going to happen in this game, man.
Do you know what?
Let's start with the lineup. What type of lineup do you expect, or would you like to see?
I mean, again, the back 5 picks itself. I think that's one positive about Arsenal at the moment. Yeah. We have no doubts about the back 5. Thought Ramsdale, to be fair, was excellent again.
Although I've got to ask you, some people, and not me, I don't want to stress that, but one or two people I spoke to said that they thought he could have done better with Odsonne-Édouard's goal, the second goal.
Yeah, I mean, I said that initially. I said, edge of the box, and it's gone straight down the middle. I don't know if I saw a little review. Somebody was saying he was a little bit off his line, which then, because Edouard hits the shot so hard, it kind of flashes past him. I don't know. Do you know what? I'll let him off with it, but because he's done so well, I kind of let him off. It's one of them, but I have to admit, I was questioning it. Yeah. It's one of them that makes you think: would a Mendy, would a Alisson, a Ederson, would they have maybe saved it? I'm not sure, but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
We'll give him it.
But
he has been outstanding.
He has been brilliant. Yeah. So the back 5 picks itself. Although, listen, I got to be honest. Kieran Tierney for me is a slight concern, because I think last season or seasons gone by, people were saying he's one of the best left backs in the Premier League. I think his form this season is concerning. I saw Jordan Ayew just running past him like he wasn't there.
Jordan Ayew of all people.
And he's not exactly an amazing footballer, is he? So
not now, anyway.
I think if
he's not as good as his dad, Jordan Ayew.
No.
Tell the people who his dad is.
Well, you know more about his dad. I think that's more your generation.
Abidi Pele, man.
Yeah.
Legend of Ghanaian football.
I think he's related to Andre Ayew as well, isn't he? Jordan Ayew.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. Yes, brother.
Yeah. So maybe Nuno Tavares, man, he'll be chomping at the bit to get a chance.
But you know what? It's interesting you say that about Tierney, because again, I've heard one or two people suggesting that Tierney's form this season has not been good.
No.
So is there cause for concern there?
I'd like to think temporary. Don't get me wrong, he's not having like shockers. No. But I think he set his standard high, and he's not really meeting those same standards.
Man, when you've had fullbacks like the likes of we've had Bellerin and people like that, they set the bar so high. I couldn't resist that.
You couldn't, could you? You couldn't help it.
Shout out to Bellerin, man.
Heck,
he's gone to Betis to win things, and he's going to do it. Well. You know what I mean? But anyway,
I tell you where the problem for me again is the midfield, because obviously it's Thomas Partey +1 at the moment, and we just don't know who that one is.
Time for Ainsley.
Maybe. Do you know the crazy thing, and this is something I never thought I would say.
Go on.
You know where I'm going with this, don't you? We're so bad at the moment in midfield.
See, this is what you call damn with faint praise.
It is. I'm about to say we might actually need to bring El Neni back.
Whoa.
Because I just don't think Lokonga and Partey looks good as a partnership. And Thomas Partey has had some of his best games next to Mohamed El Neni, just for the simple fact that he has that discipline on the pitch. He keeps the ball. Listen, I don't think El Neni is good enough for Arsenal. But we're in a position right now.
He's good enough for Arteta.
That's a different conversation. Until January, we have no other option until we go into the window or whether Xhaka comes back.
One thing I'd say about Mohamed El Neni, right, and you can go back and look at previous shows. And listen, you've been with me on this.
Yeah.
We've both given the man his props. We've given him his flowers, and we said, listen, he may not be blessed with the ability of, some of the more naturally gifted players. But the one thing about El Neni is he does put in a shift, and he'll give you everything. Now, whether that will always be enough, it probably won't be at this level. But I could see that he might feature against Villa. Me personally, I'd like to see Ainsley
Yeah, maybe Ainsley.
No,
yeah.
Ainsley's always crying out for that.
Yeah, I know,
position, man,
desperate.
You know what I mean? He's been going back and forth with the manager for some time about this. And listen, man, he's a good player. Let's not forget he'd worked his way into the England team last year. So, you know what I mean? We're looking at a guy who can play.
Yeah.
He's not always consistent, but then you can label that at a number of the players. In fact, most of the players at Arsenal at the moment.
Yeah.
So we're struggling a little bit in midfield, man.
are.
I mean, it was noticeable in the Palace game, man. Gallagher and them, man, were running things.
Bossing us.
They were running things, bro. Both from a energy point of view, but even the way they were passing the ball around.
They look more
We
confident.
kept giving it away. Which is why when I saw those possession stats and stuff and passing accuracy, I was slightly surprised. But hey, stats are stats. But, you know, from what I could see, we were being bossed in midfield by Palace. So, yeah, you're definitely right to highlight that as an area of concern. So you'd go with El Neni, would you?
Do you know what? Like I said, he's somebody I've often said I don't think he's good enough. But I just think we need some structure in there. Sometimes you just need that stability of two midfielders that understand the position, they've played together before, and allows us to then attack a little bit better. So I probably would.
Do you not think you're being a bit harsh on Sambi?
Listen,
You're giving up on him?
I haven't given up on him. I just think at the moment, him and Partey, I've seen them twice. They seem a bit all over the place when they play together.
And dare I say it, it's the spectre.
No. Here he goes.
It's the spectre of Granit Xhaka looming over the Emirates. Listen, come on now. Talk the business, bro.
Go on. I knew this was coming today.
We do have to say, don't we, that
I don't
in
think
the
we do.
absence of Xhaka, we've actually looked a poorer team. And you notice I use the word poorer. I'm not saying that when he's been in the team,
that we're
looking
better.
like a prime Barcelona.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, with him being out of the team for these few games, already you're seeing a noticeable difference there. And I don't mean improvement. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So are you going to give him some flowers, or are you still going to be
no flowers from me?
flowers.
But listen, what I will say is that whether I rate the guy or not as a player, I think, again, he brings us more structure when he plays next to Thomas Partey. What worries me is if we're missing Granit Xhaka, what does that say about Arsenal Football Club? Because to me, Granit Xhaka doesn't get in any of the other big six teams, in my opinion.
No, he doesn't.
So that, to me, says more about Edu and Mikel Arteta. How have you allowed us to get into a position where we're going, we need Granit Xhaka back? I think that's pretty poor on their end. So we probably have missed him, but I don't.
Further forward in the midfield, that's got to be said, man. Odegaard. I have to say, man, it's a couple of games now on the trot where he has not looked good.
No.
Not at all.
No, not at all. Do you know what I said when we signed this guy? And you can look back on previous videos. I said, is Martin Odegaard a talented player? No doubt. You don't get to Real Madrid unless you're talented. He's Norway captain. If he played for a Man City or someone like that, I think you would see a very good player. They moved the ball quick. They got movement. In this Arsenal team, the way Mikel Arteta's got us playing, he will have a lot of games like that Crystal Palace game where he's getting outran, where he's getting bullied, where we ain't getting the ball to him. There's not enough movement. And in the end, you take him off. And when he comes off, you sort of sit there and think, I didn't even realise he was on the pitch. Do you know what I mean? And I think that is why, and I remember me and you talking about it when we were saying Maddison or Odegaard. I said, we need a number 10 that can score goals. Now, Maddison's not even playing great himself, so I won't even say he was the answer, but I'm worried that Odegaard was not the right kind of number 10 that we needed. But we're gonna have to persist with him. But I probably wouldn't play him against Villa. I'd take him out of the team and go with someone else.
Here's another one for you: the continuing conundrum that is Nicola Pepe. We saw it in that game, man. The inconsistency. First 10, 15 minutes, man, looked like he was on fire. He had that run, blazed past the man, brilliant shot. Looked like it was going in. Great fingertips saved by the keeper. Aubameyang did what all good strikers do, followed up and scored. But initially, Pepe looked really good, and then, like the team, you kind of fizzled out a bit, and you get to the end of the game and you think, listen, man, I'm Team Pepe, you know that, and so have you. I'm struggling to justify him now because he's been there a while now, and he's just not having that right impression that we. or impact?
I mean, first of all, one thing I will say in his defence, his shot leads to the first goal. His cross leads to the second goal. So he deserves a little bit of credit for that.
He wasn't awful.
He wasn't
just
awful.
He never impacted the way we thought he would go on to do.
I think, however, and like you said, we've defended Pepe a lot. I come away from a lot of games where I watch Pepe and I feel underwhelmed. I watch wingers in other teams who cost half, sometimes a quarter of what he costs. You know, Andros Townsend's doing more than him, and he was Demarai Gray, 1.5 million. And people always say it's not your fault how much you cost in football, but the reality is fans will always judge you on that price. He's the most expensive Arsenal player in the history of the club. He's in his third season now. It's, you know, he understands the Prem now. And I've said before with Nicolas Pepe, I think he lacks intensity in his game. You know, I want a winger that wants to rip the fullback apart. And too many times Pepe gets the ball, he slows down. He lost the ball 22 times in that game.
Wow.
22 times. You know what I mean? And that's not good enough for a guy that costs 72 million. So I think Arsenal...
on the plus side, at least you could say he was seeing a lot of the ball.
Yeah, he saw a lot of the ball and then he saw it off. But
and he, like you said, he got 2 assists there, man.
I think Arsenal got a decision to make on him in the summer. I think they may have to... He's got 2 years left on his contract in the summer. You can't let a guy who costs that much money run into the final 2 years. So you either extend his contract and say, we're going to stick with him, we're going to work with him, or you try and get maybe half of what you paid for him.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The problem with Pepe, I mean, he cost 70 odd million, wasn't it?
You're not getting that,
You're not getting that. And then would Arsenal just let him go for a nominal amount? They're probably not going to want to do that, are they?
No, it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one. But it's becoming an issue.
But you're talking about the future. I'm talking about the Villa game. Does he start for you? He does for me, in the absence of better options.
Do you know what? He probably does, because Saka might be injured as well. And do you know what? I actually think Saka might need a rest. Even in that game before he got injured, I was like, you know, does he need a little bit of a break? He didn't have a pre-season. Is he still kind of fighting to get 19, fit? So I think, I would leave him in on that wing.
Just on that basis alone.
Probably on that basis. But for me, in that number 10 role, I would take Odegaard out of the team. And another player I want to talk about is Smith Rowe, because...
Yeah, I was going to ask you about Smith Rowe. I know you got some thoughts on it.
Do you know what? Smith Rowe does a lot of things really well. He's very industrious. What I really... There is a but it's a positive at the same time. Okay, What I really like about Smith Rowe, he never hides. Every game, he tries to get on the ball, tries to make things happen. I would rather have a player like that than a player at times like Odegaard that doesn't do anything.
Odegaard went missing, man.
He went missing.
I've got to tell
what Smith Rowe's got to start doing is lifting his head. I saw a little thread the other day on Twitter where there was loads of pictures where he gets in position. Even against Palace, he could have slipped Pepe in. Yeah. And instead, his head's down, he has the shot. He did the same against Brighton when he could have slipped Saka in. He's got to start lifting his head and picking that pass. If you're going to play number 10, you've got to create chances. You can't have your head down.
I think to be fair to Smith Rowe, I think he maybe fancies himself as a goal-scoring midfielder.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So maybe he's trying to take that on board and saying, look, I need to get goals for the team, which is an admirable trait.
Yeah, it is.
But like you said, man, you know what I mean? If there are obvious alternatives,
you've got to lift your head.
You got to...
I'm wondering if Arteta said to him at the start of the season, look, you got to start scoring, and that's why he's so hungry to score.
I suspect that's what it is. I think that they may have been given targets by Arteta. Said, look, we're not getting enough goals from midfield. Yeah. He's probably said to him and Pepe and 1 or 2 others, Odegaard, look, listen, man, I expect you guys to chip in 5-6 goals each or whatever it is. Yeah. And my man's trying to do it, you know what I mean? Which is fair play to him. But yeah, I mean, you are right to raise that, because 1 or 2 people have said that to me also. The other conundrum I'm going to put to you, and this is one that we touched on last week. I mean, it was me that come up with that idea that Laca should play alongside Laca, or should at least be in the team. Yeah. I look at Lacazette, man. I look at a guy, man. He's got so much quality and attributes that we need right now. Yeah. His endeavour, man. His energy. He's a team man. You know what I mean? He's busting a gut. He wants to score. He wants to, you know what I mean, be part of this team. And we're just not giving him enough game time. So I'm an advocate for finding a place for Lacazette to be in this team, whether it's 2 up front, whether he drops behind the main striker or whatever.
Yeah.
To me, there needs to be a place. We need to try and make this work. We've seen with Leicester, they've done it. Iheanacho, Vardy, it's worked. We've seen with Liverpool, Mane and Salah. That's worked unbelievably. So maybe we shouldn't look at Liverpool because they are on a different level to us. But you know what I'm saying? I don't want to see Laka on the bench anymore. Not while we're having trouble scoring like this, man.
Yeah.
What are you saying about that, bro?
I mean, we spoke about after the Palace game. I would love to see a way how those two could play up front together in a 2. I actually think there's a real partnership there. Even Atletico Madrid yesterday played with 2 strikers. I think the problem is when you play them 2, Arteta will play probably Lacazette up front and push Aubameyang on the wing, and a lot of people have said Aubameyang's not as effective on the wing as some of the more natural wingers. Is there a way you could actually go back to basics and play 4-4-2 if you've got Partey and maybe El Neni or Partey and Lokonga or whatever? Because I just think we've got to find a way to score goals. I remember Klopp's first full season at Liverpool when they were conceding a lot of goals still. They had Lovren and they had Mignolet in goal. And he said it got to a point where he knew that they had to just outscore teams. He knew they were going to concede 1 or 2. And I almost look at him now and I think Arteta's got to let that handbrake off a little bit. It's all right being defensively solid, but we got to score goals. Goals win games. And I think at the moment we're struggling to keep the attack together. And I almost think that Lacazette is that glue. When he comes on, he pulls it all together.
Listen, I'm going to say right now, it's easy to be wise after the event. Say things in hindsight. But if you watched the show last week, I was actually saying this last week. But in terms of that Palace game, for me, if Lacazette doesn't come on, we do not get a point out of that. We lose that game. I think it's high time now the manager's got to sit down with his little brains trust, getting all that money. Now, listen, seriously, and they've got to find a way of incorporating Lacazette into that team. Whether it's 4-4-2, tinker with the formation slightly, he's got to play. Because and it's not just the goal scoring. I think he gives us a certain energy, a certain physicality that, to be fair to my man Abe, doesn't always have that. And listen, man, Aubameyang should be up there trying to score the goals, but he needs some assistance. So for me, Lacazette's got to play, bro.
I'm in agreement with you that I think both of them should play, because I see that Aubameyang, 3 goals in his last 3 home games. We're at home on Friday, so I wouldn't actually drop him for Lacazette. I think
I'm not saying that at all.
They both should be in the team together.
That's what I'm saying.
But is he brave enough to do it? Well, that's the problem with him. He's quite.
Well, you better
cautious.
find some bravery from somewhere, man, because I'm telling you, man, the performances are not okay. We're unbeaten in 6, as a lot of people are pointing out to me. That's cool. But as you've said, as I've said, as many people have said, the performances are underwhelming.
They're poor.
And you could say we got quite fortunate, both in the game against Brighton and in our latest game against Palace. That's only going to last for so long, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
and we're going to have to play bigger and badder teams than them as well. Do you know what I mean? So,
but to bring it back around then, I'm going to ask you for your prediction, man, this Villa game. This is going to be a tight game, man. Because like I said, Villa, they're not in the best of form, but we know they have quality. And they're going to come on Friday. It's going to be another massive game. The eyes of the Premier League are going to be on us. The eyes of the whole footballing world is going to be on us. Big game on Friday night. And I think Villa are probably going to turn up, man.
They will.
So we're going to have to play well to beat them. If we beat them, we're going to have to play well. This scratchy shit ain't going to work against Villa. You know what I mean? We're going to have to play well. So I'm asking you, bro, do you see enough there that gives you that confidence that we can do that?
Do you know what? I mean, no, listen, you know me, mate.
I saw the way he slumped back in his chair. You know what? He had that kind of hangdog expression.
Do you know what?
That tells me that you're not wholly confident.
I've still got that Crystal Palace hangover, man. I'm still not over that game. I suppose the good thing is, we haven't got to wait long until we play again, but then could that work against them in that they'll maybe a little bit more tired?
They do have threats, Villa.
They got threats.
Let's be honest, man. They are a better team than Palace.
They are.
Disrespect to Palace.
Leon Bailey, Ings.
No disrespect to my man Vieira, but I would say Villa. It's about levels, and I think they're on that another level too.
Do you know what? Right, I'm going to go for a draw. I'm not confident.
3 draws on the spin.
Yeah, I'm not confident. I just don't think if you get a result and play bad, people will go, "Oh, sign of a good team, play bad." If you keep playing bad, then that just tells me that's where you're at as a team. And for me,
well, we're mid-table team.
But that's disappointing. We spent 150 to move from mid-table, and at the moment, I'm not seeing it. So we are kind of in that.
2 things about spending money, bro. One, you got to have the right personnel. Now, I'm not saying that the guys he bought are not the right personnel. They are good players. How good they will prove to be, because there's some youngsters in there as well. But the second thing is, once you've acquired those players, you've got to have the right man in charge to get the best out of the team.
Do we have the right man in charge, in your opinion?
Well, listen, man, I'm trying to be fair to the guy, man, but I think there's better out there.
Yeah.
Let me leave it like that.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to be too hung up on being negative about him,
Yeah.
but I'm seeing certain little things, man. I spoke about it on the show, not just last week. We've spoken about it a while, about some of the faults that I see with him as a manager, you know what I mean? The sort of rigidity.
Yeah.
He's a bit intractable. He doesn't, you know what I mean? He doesn't inspire players.
Nah, not at all. I mean, listen, for me,
the substitutions are still an issue for me.
Waits too long.
Yeah, waits too long. Reactive rather than proactive. Game management, we don't see games out at all well. Although, listen, we did well to get the equaliser. Will he play Lacazette in the band? Will he try and think outside the box and come up with solutions to enhance the team and get the best out of the players? I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced, bro.
You know, with me, with this manager, do you know what? I actually feel like I've been quite fair on him this season. I've tried to actually withdraw my opinion a little bit. You know what I mean? But honestly, and any Arsenal fan, whether you're a big fan of Arteta or not, whatever, that doesn't matter. We just want the best for the club.
Absolutely.
No Arsenal fan can tell me they are enjoying watching their team with this manager in charge. You just can't. The football is not what we expect. And when you've spent £150 million, which Arsenal don't often spend that kind of money, I expect to see drastic improvement, and I'm not seeing it. And for me, if we're going to say we're the Arsenal and we're a giant of a football club, which we are, you should get the best manager that you can possibly afford. And you cannot tell me Arteta is good enough to be our manager. 2 8th place finishers, 12th in the league, and an attack that's just not firing on all cylinders. For me, I think he's the luckiest manager in the Premier League. Honestly, I'm shocked that he's still in the job. Yeah, hey, listen, man, they don't hand them out for nothing, you know.
exactly, man.
No, but listen, man, he's going nowhere for now. That's the thing. But listen, if we can beat Villa.
So you think we'll beat Villa, do you?
No, I'm predicting a draw.
Oh, right.
I'm just saying, if we can beat Villa, our next league game after that, I mean, I think we got Leicester and Watford, you know. Yeah. The Leicester game will be tough as well, so you've got to get the 3 points in this
Watford game might not be so
Watford
tough.
Game, hopefully not so tough, you know. But, I'm going for a draw. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw.
1-1 draw. You know what? I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate. I'm thinking that if he does what I'm advocating, which is to find a place for, because listen, man, Lacazette's got to start for me.
Yeah,
he's got to start.
I think so as well.
If he does that, I reckon we can see out a close game 2-1. I think. And
you know what? I agree with you on that.
But he's got to make those changes.
If he picks the Odegaards and them man there, though, it could be a long night. If he picks the
sort of team that I would like to see and imbue them with that same energy and enthusiasm and, you know what I mean, directness.
Yeah.
If we make the start that we made the other day, and, you know, well, obviously we can't. When you're playing against teams like Villa, you're not going to be able to just blow them away like that, are you? Very unlikely. There are going to be, like, you know what I mean, dips in the momentum and in the phases of play. But I think if he picks the right team, and by that I mean he's got to find a place for Lacazette to play, I think we can beat them. But it's going to be tight.
I hope so. We need it.
And that's what I'm going. So you're going for a draw?
I'm going for 1-1. But listen, like you said, if he picks the right team, but that's a big if.
That is a big if.
So we'll have to see.
So we'll see, man.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. Okay. So right. Thanks, bro. We're now coming to the end of the show.
Yeah.
Once again, I've enjoyed having you up with us. Come all the way up giving us the benefit of your honest and forthright opinions, and I've enjoyed it. I hope the viewers have enjoyed it too. Tell the people where they can find your social.
Yeah, check out the channel as usual.
Check out the award-winning, the award-winner, man.
Sure, TV people. Listen, thank you to everyone for the support, all the community, everyone who's supported the videos. Big up to you, Robbie, everyone involved with AFTV, and big up to AFTV for winning their award as well.
Yeah, we do our best, man. Congratulations to the AFTV team, man. The likes of Brennan over there, you know what I mean?
Unsung heroes, man. You know, he's like the Gilberto Silva of AFTV, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Brennan, Josh, Jason, the whole crew, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The whole crew, all the backroom staff, not just the heavy hitters like Robbie and me. You know what I mean? But everybody involved, man. The whole AFTV family.
Come on,
Big
man.
up yourselves, man.
Yeah,
and listen, man, thanks for coming in, and thanks to the viewers. Keep sending us in your comments, man. We want to keep the show as interactive as we possibly can. We do always read the comments. We don't always respond, but we do like to see what's coming in. So keep that going. And listen, bro, like, share, subscribe. Keep watching, and hopefully we'll see you next week. We're out.